Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I am thrilled to be here today with my friend, Elaine Glass, who is the author of Get Quiet, 7 Simple Paths to the Truth of Who You Are. Elaine, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. This is great to be here, Amanda.
We are busy women. We have quite a few things that we're juggling. We are being pulled in 100 different directions, and stress is impacting us more than ever before. And you wrote a book to help us address this and to help us get quiet. So just give us the synopsis, give us a quick summary of your book, and then we're going to dive into specific questions.
Yes, this book is about getting quiet enough to hear what really matters in your life. What I like to say are soul's calling. And life has gotten so loud and we've gotten so much stress and we're juggling so much that we can't even hear these subtle messages, the soul's voice guiding us and showing us exactly where to go. Life can be so much easier than it is right now, I promise you.
Life can be so much easier than it is right now. You are promising us, you are guaranteeing us. So we're going to talk about how to make that so. Now, Elaine, you and I met several years ago at a health and wellness conference. You happen to be married, I believe, to the person who led that conference. I know for sure that the past couple times we've broken bread together, you were engaged. So I imagine there was a wedding in there. But we were with health and wellness professionals from all over the world who are top of their game. And at some point, you decided, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to impact people for the better. Take me on that journey. When and why did you decide to write this book?
Well, not only did I see my colleagues stress, but I myself was completely broken and stressed. And I was seeing it as autoimmune disease. I was seeing it now as weight gain. I was seeing it as mentally emotional issues. I was so disconnected to anything spiritual, and I was so bogged down. I felt so heavy in mind, body, and soul. And I was completely distracted. So I feel like distractions bring us further away from this soul's calling. And we go into distraction mode because we want to numb ourselves. We don't want to deal with it. And I feel like the biggest addiction right now is looking away at the truth of our lives. And so not only did I see my colleagues doing this, but I was doing this. I was suffering, and I actually lost a marriage over this. And so my whole family broke up over this one element of my life, that I wasn't getting quiet enough to hear true direction for me. And so I went on this journey to find this quiet. And it wasn't a quiet in terms of solitude or being cross-legged in a dark room. That's not what it ended up being. I found myself at a retreat center, and all of a sudden it was the quietest place I'd ever been. And I could actually hear the birds chirping and the gravel crunching under my feet and the wind blowing through my hair. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. And we don't know what we're missing, but we know we're missing something. And I believe what we're missing is ourselves. And so I started walking a labyrinth at this retreat center. And every time I'd walk this labyrinth and it was so quiet, I actually heard my soul's voice guiding me in the right direction. And every path now represents something that when we do get quiet, we know exactly what to look for and what to do in the quiet. Because so many times we're like, okay, well, I'm sitting in meditation or I'm quiet, but what do I do? What do I look at? What questions do I ask? And so I have a system now where you can make that few moments you have that are those quiet moments really work for you so that you do find the answers, so that you do release this stress and the heaviness that we all carry, because it is in the heaviness. It is in all that we are holding. We're holding the emotions of our children. We're holding, issues at work. We're holding so much. We've got to find the lightness of being within ourselves.
Wow. Elaine, this is a different type of conversation than we usually have on the Faster Way podcast, but I think it's a very important conversation. And again, I started by saying we are busy, we're being pulled in 100 different directions, but I'm even reflecting on my week. I just told you right before we started recording, in the next couple of weeks, I'm moving 3 of my 5 children to Costa Rica. 2 of my kids are going to be at the international school in Costa Rica. 2 of my kids are still going to be in Florida. My team is in Florida in the office. So I now have papers and calendars and folders of where I'm going to be when, where my kids are going to be when. I am feeling this sense of overwhelm. I'm going to be flying back and forth every other week. And even I'll just, share June. I start the month by speaking at my high school graduation. I'm speaking at commencement. I'm then flying to Florida for a few days, flying to Texas for a leg day, flying back to Costa Rica to host some coaches, flying to possibly Puerto Rico for an event, flying back to Costa Rica, hosting some it is just, and then I have 2 birthdays in there too. Both of my sons have a birthday in June. So I'm stressed, I'm worried, but what do I do in the moments where I have a little bit of downtime? I scroll on my phone. I get distracted with other things because it's easier to do that than to really deal with, the overwhelm and quiet my mind enough to find, the path to less stress and more serenity. So chat with us about some of these paths. Your book is called Get Quiet, 7 Simple Paths to the Truth of Who You Are. Share with us maybe what is the first path?
The first path is to nurture your body. We as busy women cannot do anything unless we are nurturing our body. Now, note, this is not, necessarily lifting heavy weights, running marathons, hiking mountains. Now, if you're a marathon runner, that's great. But if you're not, this is about gentleness now. This is about going into a more feminine energy. So we take on so much masculine role as a busy working mother, but we lose our femininity. We lose the ability to tune in and create what we're really meant to create. And so the very first path is nurturing the body, lovingly talking to our body. I remember swimming in the pool. Instead of doing laps, I would dance in the pool and just spread the water around. And it's just a gentleness that we finally begin to give our bodies. No more beating our bodies up. It's over. Those days are over. That's the first path.
Nurture your body. And I do feel that there's a place for this. It might be a walk. It might be the sauna. It might be some pampering. It might be, for me yesterday, a salt room, a salt cape. There is especially more need for this as we enter into perimenopause and menopause, is what I've experienced and I've found. And it's interesting you talk about the masculine energy. I was joking with some of my team members this morning. My husband's out of town. And so I said, I didn't sleep very well because I'm the man of the house. And they were laughing. They said, what did that mean? I said, I had one eye open all night. I showed them my Aura Ring data. I was up 6 times. I'm, kind of sleeping with one eye open because I got my kids at home and I got to protect the kids now because I'm like, my husband's not next to me, kind of protecting the house. So I'm like, man, that was exhausting. But we so often just try to get into these patterns of the masculine energy and, Broseph said I need to do this and that, so I'm going to do this and that. Where really saying, okay, we're going to give ourselves grace and we're going to pamper ourselves and we're going to move in a way that supports our system. I think that's a great tip. What's your second path to
second
quiet?
Path? Yes, the second path, which I love, is getting our environments healthy. And that can mean anything from cleaning out our cupboards, cleaning out our drawers, cleaning out our closets. And this is all about shifting energy. I want to be clear. When we start nurturing our body and shifting our body's energy, shifting our environment and shifting the energy in it, cleaning and clearing out our lives of all the things that are weighing heavy on us, we become very light. Light in our thinking, light in our bodies. I mean, I've seen people lose 25 pounds just in these first two paths because of the lightening of the energy and the shifting of the energy and going into a more feminine way to live. Because most women that I work with, they are struggling. They are struggling in their marriages, they're struggling in their works, and mainly they're struggling in their bodies and the health of their bodies. And it's because of the denseness that we're carrying around. So the second path is cleaning and clearing out your environment. And that can be people, and that can even be who's sleeping in your bed.
Yes. Oh, yes. A couple people just got goosebumps when you said that. Pay attention to those goosebumps. Give me another example. Are we talking, I got to clean out my closet? I was literally just looking at my closet and thinking, oh, I have so many clothes I'm not wearing, and it's just weighing me down to even have this excess. Are we even getting down to that level? We clean out the pantry of all the things we don't need. We clear out the closet. Is that, part of what we're talking about as well?
Yes, because if you're looking up at your life from 1,000 feet looking down, you would have such a clear view of everything in your life that's weighing heavy on you, that's not supposed to be there. And so this is really about having that bird's eye view of your own life and what is not supposed to be in your environment. It's as simple as that. I mean, these are like, I have clients who will go and not even know where the key to their outside storage is because they've literally been paying every month for outside storage and they don't even know where the key is anymore. So we are holding heavy things around our environment and we're not addressing them. And sometimes they're painful. I mean, I've looked through old boxes, high school letters and photos of loved ones who have passed away when I've gone through these types of storage units. And it's painful, but it's also cathartic. And it's also that energy shift that we need. And when we get in tune with these emotions and feelings, it's very healthy. And it's also a very feminine way to approach life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Some of the best seasons in my life have come after a big move where I got rid of stuff. When I moved to Florida from the Midwest, we sold our house. We sold all of our belongings. I got rid of all of my clothes. I had 2 workout outfits. They were the same shirt, same shorts, but I would just cycle them through. I had 5 dresses I would wear for the work week, and then a couple of items for the weekend. And I drove literally just the kids in the cars from Ohio to Florida. We moved into our 1,000 square foot furnished condo, and it was almost like a whole life enema. And it was so nice to have the freedom of living without stuff. We spent $4,000 a month total. We owned the condo. I mean, it was a really good season. And right now, I have 2 houses in Florida. I have a house in Costa Rica. I'm accumulating more and more things, and it doesn't feel good. And I just recently was like, man, I gotta clear out the closet. I think I'm going to work on that later today. 2 of the kids are on field trips with school. My husband's out of town. I got the nanny later today, so maybe I'm going to work on clearing out the closet a little bit, which is going to make me feel lighter.
And just the fact that you're making space and creating space for yourself to have the awareness that this would be the best time for you to do these things. And that is so important in the get quiet way, is to create space for yourself. The kids are gone, the husband's gone. This is time for you. And even if it's for 45 minutes, even if it's for an hour and a half, that you get that time to create space, this is the gift that you give yourself. Instead of filling that space with distractions and scrolling or eating or, doing things that don't serve you, these are the awarenesses. This is how you wake up to the truth of your life, is knowing I need to create this space, and then I need to create and clean and clear out what's in that space that's just really, really causing us so much stress.
Mm.
This is it's okay to have houses, but, are you creating in those environments space to breathe? Are you able to walk into a room and find yourself because it's not cluttered? This is the feminine way to live.
I am already feeling better just knowing that I'm going to do this later today, because if I say it, it will happen. So I'm already feeling better because I know how this story ends. I'm gonna get, and for everybody listening, we can donate. It's okay to get rid of some clothes and donate them or give them to someone. We have a charity that we support as a Faster Way office, where we give some of our hand-me-downs to a particular charity that helps women who are trafficked, who are needing clothes for home life or for the office. And so I feel great about that. We have time for just a couple more of these steps. So you have 7 total paths, but let's move on to the third. What's the third path?
Well, the third is the longest path because it is the most difficult, and that is cleaning and clearing the mind. That is the most difficult because of all of these running thoughts on repeat. How do we clean and clear that mind? And the very first thing that we do is we get present to everything that we're doing in a day. And I would even say take an hour and journal and write down what you're present to. What are you doing in that hour that you are so present to? And when you get this present, there's no chance your mind is going to race. It's just not possible. You can't have those two things happening at the same time. So this is about getting super, super, super present to what you are doing in everyday life.
So your strategy for a quiet mind in part is to journal. Can you share with me just a little bit more, drill down, what am I journaling? Am I journaling about my day? Am I journaling what I'm grateful for? What exactly does that look like?
Well, I love this topic because I've kept a diary since I was 16 years old. So this is how I've always been able to process life that's going on around me, is getting it out of me. And again, by journaling, we're talking about getting what's heavy in us out of us. And so if those are thoughts that are weighing heavy, then we've got to get them out of us. And journaling is such a great therapy. So what do you write about? You can give your own self a prompt. You can give yourself a prompt like, what was the best thing that happened today? What made me happy? What made me sad today? What do I want to create for tomorrow? You can set an intention. I believe intention is the biggest activator for good things to happen in your life. And so what is the intention I want to set for today that will make my day the best day it can possibly be? And sometimes with creatives and women that I know that we're speaking to today, we have so much we want to create, and it's all in our heads. And so we just want to get it out on a piece of paper. Sometimes I'll just voice text it in my notes on my phone when I'm walking and get it out of me. And it's not that the writing is good, but it's just the thoughts that need to come out of my head. And funny enough, the last 2 years, all of my insights that I've written and journaled about actually became my book. So you can do a lot with this journaling. It can even become a published book.
Oh, I love that. It's interesting because from 3rd grade until the end of college, I journaled every day. My papa, who died at the age of 94, journaled every day of his life. And we just had, journal after journal after journal. I've gotten away from that. I tried to kind of get back into gratitude journaling at night, and it always was really helpful. It helped me sleep better as well. And I appreciate that practice, and I've seen the value of that practice. I definitely need to get back to it. It's so easy for us as women, as busy moms, as CEOs, as church members to make excuses because we do have so many different activities and so many different things vying for our attention. So I think, the practice of journaling, how long per day do you write in your journal?
It varies. I mean, I could get an insight in an hour and I'll write it down. And maybe later tonight, another insight. And these could be intuitive hits that we get. And that's the other thing. We've got to, as women, tune back into our intuition. Sometimes we feel like we've lost it, or maybe we've never even been in tune with it. But journaling will help you tune back into those intuitive hits. And to me, that is the most feminine way that you can go throughout your day, is knowing that you are leading yourself and your family in an intuitive way that is very natural to the way that we are made. And so living in this natural way is so healthy. And that is so much of the quiet that helps, is the intuition just really, really kicks in big time when you journal.
Yeah. Yeah. We have time for one more path. Again, you have 7, so we all need to go ahead and get your book, and you'll tell us a little bit about where, but share with us one final path.
Well, this one is my favorite. And the fourth path is to get rest. And I want to tell everybody right now who's listening, I give you permission to rest. This is the path that changed everything for me. From being a single mom, working full time, struggling, living in a tiny house, not knowing what my future was going to be like, my kids' futures. I absolutely had to rest, because in the rest is where we actually then tune in to our soul's calling, where I reconnected to God and began those conversations back up again with God. So this is the path that is crucial to get to a place of health. This is where your nervous system relaxes. This is where you feel safe again. And this is everything. This is a game changer. So please, I give you permission to rest.
Yes. Yeah. And that's so aligned with the Faster Way philosophy. Elaine, we prioritize whole food nutrition. We prioritize exercise and movement, but we also prioritize rest. And I often joke, I say, this is the first fat loss program we've ever done where the CEO is telling you to rest and to honor and balance rest and stress in your life. And I think the tangible tips that you've given us as takeaways are so helpful. Clearing out the pantry, clearing out the closet, doing some journaling, really pausing to rest. Tapping into your intuition. Again, it's different. It's a different conversation than what we often have on the Faster Way podcast. And, for me in particular, I am a hard driver. And even recently, Lee Bergen and I, in our Coach Confessionals, she's in a season of pulling back. She's in a season of rest. She's in a season of really honoring and balancing this rest and stress in her life, where I've been in a little bit more season of let me go hard, because I was able to pause a little bit at the end of last year. So let me ramp it up a little bit on the workouts. Let me add a little bit of complication with now I'm going to be splitting time between Costa Rica and Florida. But the fact is, I still need to rest on a regular basis. And I actually, on my calendar, every single day have a block of time for margin. And no matter what, I use that block of time. And whether it's sitting in the sauna, whether it's taking a walk by myself. And again, I got 5 kids. I'm right there with you if you're saying, well, when would I possibly have time for myself? When would I possibly have time to rest? Maybe you wake up just a little bit earlier, so the morning you have a pause, or right before bed, that's your pause to yourself, and you journal and you rest. But Elaine, I think that's such an important tip for us women, especially because when we are going hard 24/7, that's when we do have these issues with autoimmune, and we're storing fat, and our parasympathetic nervous system isn't supported, and we're unable to really heal. And so that's just a wonderful tip. Share maybe one final piece of wisdom with every woman listening who needs to get quiet. What's your final, most powerful piece of insight?
Well, I'm a mother first. I've done a lot of things in my life, but I know that I am a mother first. And I would say that children are great imitators. So we need to show them something great to imitate. It's up to us. So I would leave you with that.
This has been such a great conversation. I can't wait to dive into your book. Share with us a little bit about where we can find the book.
You can find the book at getquiet.com. And then you can also find me at elaineglass.net.
Great. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate your perspective. We appreciate your expertise. And we look forward to visiting the website to find out more and to getting quiet and resting so that we can really optimize our life and serve those around us with even more excellence. Thank you so much, Elaine.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Bye, everyone.